What is up, everybody? This is Mason with the Next Guy Podcast, and I am back,
He's
ready
back.
to get started. We had some insane football over the weekend. The guys held down the fort, broke it down. It was some great football. We all got together, just the text threads just blowing up of we need to have an emergency pod today. So if you're listening to this on a Friday morning, we have someone on this pod, not Zach or me, that is ready to cook. We had some news that was breaking, just constant, and I still am seeing some things. I'm excited. We will talk about and preview some of the games before we get off the pod. But yeah, we're ready. How are we doing specifically, Tens? How's everything going? How you feeling right now?
It's a top 10 day. It's a top 10,
Top
24
10.
hours. Yeah, we were going to do a pod and release it Saturday for conference championship weekend. And then, some news, some stuff has happened with the Jaguars in the last 24 hours that I have been screaming for to happen for a little while now. So, and I have some people to call out and people to say things about. And so here we are.
Listen, if our text thread ever gets leaked, if some hackers, we might be going viral or canceled, one of the two. I'm not sure, but Tinsley's been super excited about all this. We have breaking news that's not technically broke yet, like it's not even official yet.
True.
But Tinsley, or do you want to set up what has happened in the past 24 hours, 48 hours, maybe?
Let me take you to Monday. Take you to Monday. Liam Cohen is supposed to come in for an in-person interview with the Jacksonville Jaguars, his second interview. All indications were he was the favorite to land the job, but Trent Baalke was in the way. The Buccaneers, who did not want to lose Liam Cohen, offered him a 3-year extension, $4.5 million a year, making him the highest paid coordinator in the league.
Highest paid.
To come back as the OC. But the stipulation was, and we're going to get back to this, that he could not take the second interview with the Jaguars for their head coaching position. They wanted him to say, sorry, I'm withdrawing my name. So that, on top of the fact that Liam Cohen told the Jags that he did not want to come into his first head coaching job with a GM named Trent Baalke. Why? Because he's a snake. He's a cockroach. He is a bad guy. He somehow was about to be hiring his sixth head coach as a GM, the fourth for the Jaguars somehow. So Liam Cohen smartly said, sorry, I'm not going to take this job with Trent Baalke there. And that was the final straw that broke the back of Shad Khan. Because after that, after Liam Cohen withdrew, Shad was dragged through the mud of the internet. ESPN, NFL Network, everyone was saying this is another example. This is another reason why it's crazy that he didn't fire Trent Baalke 2 weeks ago when he fired Doug, because no one's going to take this job with Trent Baalke sitting there.
Actually,
and finally,
I think my sources leaked that Shad listened to the Next Guy podcast and was called a loser, idiot, doofus by Tinsley and all the name calling. He was like, you know what? Yeah. I can't do this anymore. Tinsley's telling me fire him, and I did it.
He finally listened to me. Yeah,
it only took all season.
It was an all-day thing. So that brings us to Tuesday. A lot of people are making fun of the Jags, making fun of our owner, making fun of us that we've lost out on Liam Cohen and Ben Johnson now, that we're going to end up hiring Robert Saleh to be our head coach, and everyone's making fun of us. We'll get back to that too here in a second. So it's bad. It's bad times. Your boy is down bad. I take a nap. Morgan wakes me up from my nap after preload and says, Tins, they fired Trent Baalke. Oh boy. Things are now cooking. Immediately, my head is spinning.
Did you think she was messing with you?
Yes, I sure did. Because I never thought it would happen.
He's like, oh, baby, Christmas morning came again.
I literally thought Trent Baalke would have this job forever. Then if he survived this whole ordeal with Doug Peterson and the collapse of the last two seasons and the two top candidates for this head coaching cycle for our team to turn him down. All right, he whatever kind of magic this guy has, he's good for him, I guess, because we can't get rid of him. So they did. They fired him, or they respectfully parted ways, as Ian Rappaport put it. That's because him and Trent Baalke are buds. Guess what? He got fired. That's what happened. Because he's a loser. And I hope he's in his house right now crying, just realizing that he was the reason we didn't have nice things. So then, yeah, that brings us to late last night. And there's some rumors going on that Shad Khan made a phone call to Liam Cohen after firing Baalke and said, "You're going to have to tell me no again. You're going to have to turn this job down a second time because I'm willing to bring in a new GM." And Shad Khan is very flexible with his pocketbook. He's willing to pay whatever it takes. The numbers are that we're going to pay Liam more than Ben Johnson.
Saw that.
Which is good because Ben Johnson doesn't even know his left from his right. I don't know if you saw his presser, but they're like, "Ben, to your left," and he had to do the hand thing like he's in kindergarten. My 6-year-old knows what her left and right is without doing the hand thing. Tough. Ben Johnson, Adam Gase 2.0. Been saying it for a minute.
You only started after you didn't think he was going to be Jaguars head coach.
Wrong. He was still in the running. And I said I didn't want him 2 weeks ago before the playoff debacle happened.
This is just what happens. You blink because Tinsley about a month ago he was his number one.
I was on right. Ben Johnson,
and now he's this stupid idiot. He doesn't know his left from his right. That's how quick it turns. Kevin Ridley gets traded, and all of a sudden, number one hated.
He didn't get traded. He left. It's not hated. I started just picking up. I started watching. I watched the tape on Ben Johnson. I started watching some press conferences. Started reading some stuff, and I immediately was like, he's a dweeb. He doesn't fit the our culture down in Jacksonville, and I could just tell he's kind of a dweeb. And am I wrong?
No.
His little press conference interview or video of him walking to the Bears facility, doing his weird, awkward clapping, and he's dodged a bullet there. But I don't care about Ben Johnson. He coaches the Bears. Who cares about him? I got my guy.
Sure.
I made it known. Liam Cohen's my guy for about a month. I said on this podcast that he's been my number one for a minute. And it hurt when he withdrew his name, when all that happened Monday and Tuesday, I was beginning to feel pretty apathetic to the Jags. I was like, I can't do I was really about to have to deal with Robert Saleh being my head coach this season.
Now looking like he's going to be defensive coordinator for the 49ers again. So that's how the dominoes fall. Have you seen that yet?
Yeah. He was supposed to fly in tonight for his interview in the morning for the Jags head coaching job and never flew in because Liam has been with Shad all day.
So Cohen's demands were basically fire Baalke and back up the Brink truck and just pay me.
The money. I don't think he asked for that much. I don't know the money part. What he asked for, Shad just made it an offer he could. Shad is not going to be outbid. You're not gonna money won't be the reason he loses out. It was always Trent. He was never willing to fire Trent. Luckily, Tony Baselli, Jaguars' only Hall of Fame player for now. Fred Taylor's getting in the summer. But Tony Baselli has gotten involved in the front office. He is taking over as the executive vice president of football operations with our former assistant GM, Ethan Wall. They finally got in Chad's ear and was like, we're never going to be able to get the candidate that you want that can do what you want to do until we get rid of Trent. So that really got the wheels in motion there. So shout out Tony Baselli. That helped a lot. And then they just
trashing on him on Twitter.
I was a little bit mad because he was out here backing up Baalke on the radio show Monday, saying it wasn't fair to say Baalke was the reason we missed out on Ben Johnson.
Clearly, somebody thinks it was. If he's gone now,
exactly. So, listen, Tony needed a little tough love. He was being a little too chummy with Trent Baalke the last couple of weeks and needed him to to finally realize that he needed to get fired, which he did. So thanks, Tony. I was also bullying Shad Khan's son, Tony Khan, about his wrestling company. That's one of my favorite things to do when we suck or do something stupid or being embarrassed online. I like to tweet at the son, who has not really a ton to do with the Jags. He runs our analytics department, but
Just to be clear, this is an adult son.
Adult son. Oh,
Not
yes.
a child.
No. Well, I mean, if he was a child, he can catch these Twitter hands too.
On the internet.
If you got a Twitter account, anything's fair game to me.
That is not true, and we're gonna walk that back.
To be bullied online, to be called a doofus, or learn ball gamer, or whatever else I like to say on there. Cry harder. That's a favorite. So then that brings us to today. Liam Cohen's going to be the next Jaguars head coach, and the Buccaneer fans are in shambles. These are the same Buccaneer fans that Monday, before Liam Cohen withdrew his name, were saying they should fire Todd Bowles to replace him with Liam Cohen. That's how much they didn't want to lose him. Now they're saying he's a liar and a snake, and how could he go back on saying he was going to take this contract and then turn around and go back and take the Jags job? And he's overrated, and we never wanted him. I'm like, you guys were making fun of us. The Bucs Twitter was laughing in our faces that we missed out on Liam Cohen. They were saying things like, wow, he'd rather be an OC in Tampa than take the head coaching job with the Jaguars. Well, guess what, buddies and pals? Where did he end up?
Let's just make it known, make the record show it's not happened yet. But
okay,
when it does,
sure.
when it does, just wanted to let you know, when you bet on the Jags to win the Super Bowl for $100, your payout's going to be $10,100.
It's going to be it's going to, as soon as the news breaks, it's going down.
So when this was all kind of going down, I made a comparison to Shiano Sunday in Tennessee football lore.
Yes.
Famously, the day that Tennessee fan base revolted against the hiring of Greg Schiano, given that was in favor of a coach who didn't pan out super well for the Vols.
That's not here nor there.
A couple years later, we ended up with a good coach, finally. It was kind of the power of the people to stand up against incompetent administration. So shout out to the Jaguars for joining the halls of greatness.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm like really I'm happy Tony Baselli finally got into a position in the front office, because he hears what the fans say. He has a pretty good gauge of like where we're at and what we want. And so I think that was the final straw. I think once there was another public turn down of the job because no one wants to work with Trent Baalke, I think they finally realized hey, we got to do something, or else we're legitimately not going to have people at this stadium next year.
If people are turning away and literally just being like, this is a good job, but I don't like your GM, so sorry.
Right. I think that's where exactly. And I think that's why I think the minute that you fire the GM and now you get the guy you want, it shows that this was a good job. If we would have done this 2 weeks ago, I think we would have had to choose between Ben Johnson and Cohen. We would have gotten the pick. But instead, I said this in the text earlier, I don't love how we got here. The path was bad. It was a debacle. It made us look like a circus clown show with Trent Baalke for the last 2 weeks.
You have more gray hair because of it, probably.
I was pretty, I was pretty mad. There was, there was a lot of anger,
stress
in the beginning of the week. But if it ends up us getting a new GM who is finally in lockstep with our head coach, because that's what keeps happening is we keep firing the head coach, and then we have the same GM, and they're never a team. And I'm all for when you hire someone, if you're going to clean house and make it them come together. Don't hire a GM and let him inherit a coach, and don't have a coach who inherits a GM, because they're never going to be on the same page. They just aren't.
Yeah. Question. Did you see the reports where Liam Cohen will also choose the next GM?
Yes.
Is that ever happen? And does that happen usually? I don't know. I'm asking a legitimate question of a head coach.
Kyle Shanahan got to pick his GM.
Okay.
And for the most part, they pick. It's a guy that you have a relationship with that you've worked with before, like Dan Campbell and the Lions GM. They had worked together for a long time. Aaron Glenn, his GM, that's coming in with him from Washington to the Jets, like they've worked together for a long time. So that's it. The media is going to say that word. He's going to get the hand pick because people want to paint Liam as like a bad guy now because what he did to the Bucs. Oh, the poor Buccaneers. Oh, where. So
Okay, I have a couple questions for Tim.
yes.
Number one,
Mm-hmm.
what would you say to someone who says that it seems like Liam Cohen uses jobs as stepping stones to get to better jobs down the road?
That's great. What's the better job than being an NFL head coach? I mean, that's what he's been working for his whole life is to be an NFL head coach. So
An NFL coach for another organization.
I didn't realize he'd been at Kentucky a couple times until.
Yeah, he went to Kentucky, went back to the Rams, and then went back to Kentucky.
Okay, so question number 2.
Mm-hmm.
What is making you excited about the Liam Cohen situation?
So
what does he have to offer?
He is an offensive genius. That is words from Sean McVay. Sean McVay has not turned over play calling duties, but only the time that he has is when Liam Cohen was his offensive coordinator. Like he trusted him to call plays. He builds offenses that fit players' schemes and not try to fit players into his scheme. Like he's just great offensively. So I would love to see him get paired up with a good veteran defensive coach and kind of have it like what Sean McVay, when he first took over as the Rams head coach, he was kind of like the head coach of the offense. And what did he have? He had Wade Phillips as his defensive coordinator, and he was like the head coach of the defense, where he was like, hey, I'm a little bit more hands off. I'm going to really lean on this guy to carry the defense. And so I'd like to see that happen with Liam. But I mean, if you hear like every quarterback that he's been with Liam Johnson or Liam Cohen, he's like, he made Will Levis look like a first round draft pick. He revived Baker's career in 5 games with the Rams and got him that contract with the Bucs. And then now it was his offensive coordinator this year, where Baker was a borderline MVP candidate. So,
and if he made Will Levis look that good, maybe the Titans should have signed him.
Well, you already have a head coach. But
okay, last question, Tins.
Maybe we fire him. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have your sights set on a GM that you would like to see fill the role?
Good question.
Ray Agnew from the Lions would be someone I would like. He comes from the Rams as well. He's been with the Lions the last couple of years. But anyone from that Les Snead front office mold, I'm cool with. And then there's this guy named Spytech. That's his last name. He's technically been hired by the Raiders. But just like the Raiders or just like the Bucs, he ain't signed his contract yet with the Raiders. And he was Liam Cohen's number 1 choice. So if we go and steal him before he signs his contract and convince him to leave that job, we're public enemy number 1 of the whole NFL. Everybody hates us then. And I don't care. It's all about business. The NFL is a business, and I'm trying to have business be booming.
So who is the guy from the Lions? Is he assistant GM? What's he right now?
Yeah, Agnew, he's assistant GM.
Okay, you realize they probably would have one of the worst weeks in NFL. Like they got blown out by not blown out, but they lost a 7 seed in the playoff.
Yep.
Same week, they lose their offensive coordinator to the Bears, their defensive coordinator to the Jets.
Not just that either. Their defensive line coach is now the DC for the Patriots. Their linebacker coach is going to be Aaron Glenn's defensive coordinator. Their offensive line coach, which I don't know if you know this about the Lions, they have the best offensive line in the league. Yeah. He's about to go be Ben Johnson's offensive coordinator. Wow. Like Mark Brunell, the quarterback coach for the Lions, he's leaving to go be the OC for Aaron Glenn. So, yeah, the Lions are getting pillaged.
Teams got blown up.
Tough.
They had one chance.
I'm not even kidding. Commanders. You can't handle that many changes. I might literally the second win totals. I'll take the under no matter what the number is.
Ooh.
That's a hot take, maybe. I don't know.
I don't hate it.
Taking the under no matter what it is. He says.
No matter
it is
what.
before. It sounds like Zach when he
He
talks
dare-
about Notre Dame losing or missing the playoffs. I'll take it no matter
I'll
what
take it
is.
again next year.
Frauds. Even though
Consider
they were
it
just in
taken.
the championship game.
I
Still
don't
fraud.
trust them.
Okay, Tins. How do you feel? You feel better? You feel good?
I feel good. If we would have recorded this Wednesday,
oh man, if only.
Would have been some good content as well.
I would have been down bad. Well, yeah, because that was we fired Baalke.
I was still in the Bahamas at that time, so
I really love Liam Cohen before he decided to switch back to us because he got Baalke fired. Him just saying sorry but no thanks, I don't want to work for Baalke was enough to get him fired. So just in my head, like I was cool. I was like, hey, you know what, Liam Cohen, I'm a big fan of you. Thank you for at least doing that for me.
That's what we like to call addition by subtraction.
Yes, sir.
And then you had addition by addition. Maybe, hopefully, tomorrow morning.
Yeah, if the contract works out, yeah, as long as that pen hits that paper. Also,
well, go ahead.
I need to figure out if we're saying his name right. I've heard Cone and I've heard Cohen.
Probably depends on how southern you are.
Yeah, I need to get that nailed down. If it's cone, then it's waffle cone season. We're out here eating ice cream.
What's Cohen?
Nothing. Cohen.
Less fun. Okay.
Yeah, less fun. I don't know. I don't have anything cool for that one.
Nothing. I thought when he said, I thought you had an idea for both.
No, just cone. I just only have one for cone.
Just cone, and it's ice cream cone.
Yep.
So when Tinsley needs good luck in a playoff game, he always brings up the chunky monkey. Now he'll have it in a waffle cone.
Strictly out of a waffle cone. Only way I'm eating ice cream from now on is out of a cone.
Like that.
There you go.
Love that.
Perfect.
So yeah, we're fired up over here. Excitement is back. I'm back. Okay.
I have one more take before we get.
Yes, please.
This is Titans talk now. Tins famously has been kind of erratic with his thoughts on the coaching search, and I feel myself going the same direction here because as soon as I saw the headline that Titans were probably going to take Cam Ward, I was like, Cam Ward, pretty good football player. Maybe there's something there. I just want to do a quick second because we got the draft coming up. Titans are number 1. Some news broke this week that it looked like Titans are going to be eyeing that number 1 pick with Cam Ward potentially. Travis Hunter had his odds jumped up too, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah,
both
plus
of the
1,000 to plus 140.
Yeah. So I don't know, Mason. What are your thoughts on that one?
So his quote was, "We won't pass up on generational talent," which everybody took that as the definition of generational talent for this standpoint is somebody that's literally playing two sides of the field and is elite or somewhat, at least in college, on both sides. So that's why his odds jumped up. Now, Cam Ward, still a possibility. You
his
always see that number 1.
Too, didn't it?
Isn't
he like minus money now?
I'm pulling it up, but at the time it was Cam Moore was minus 200, and then it went Shedeur Sanders plus 140, and then Hunter 140. I do think it has moved. I'm pulling it up.
And I think a lot of the Shedeur talk went away because I think I know this sounds silly, but the only way we would actually maybe drafted him was if there was the Dion. Like, I think that coaching whole thing is donezo. Like, I think Dion's probably going to be back in college now that the Cowboys moved on. And so, like, it was one of those things where if Dion had any talks whatsoever with the Titans, or they ended up firing Callahan, you were going to see Shedeur, like, literally be the on favorite. So that's how much it changes. Like, for me, I would like Cam Ward with a different coach. I feel like coaching is so important, and just to see them literally train wreck Will Levis, and yes, it could have just been him as well, but it just did not seem like they set him up for success. So I don't know what you think, Zach. I just really hate to draft him, and then literally they just destroy this guy's career.
It could happen for sure. It's hard to tell. Is Will Levis just bad? It is. These rookie quarterbacks. It's hard to tell, man. I don't know. In my mind, Cam Ward drafting a QB number 1 overall is always going to be just an absolute gamble, like pure gambling. You never know what you're getting with a quarterback that's coming from college, even if they're at a big school. But I mean, at Miami with kind of the team around him, who knows? Is it a gamble that's worth it? Maybe. Will Travis Hunter be an incredible NFL? He'll probably play both ways for some team somewhere, at least some. Will he be a great player, rookie of the year? Probably. What moves the needle more, a player like that or a quarterback who can be game-changing? I mean, I think just the Jayden Daniels effect of this year is going to make people start looking at some quarterbacks more and be like, wow, this guy can really change our franchise. So I don't know. Cam Ward could be the guy, certainly. But he could also be a first, I don't know. He could be a burnout and it just not pan out at all.
If the Titans go Travis Hunter, the Browns are going to be licking their chops and they're going to be ready to draft Cam Ward. You mark my words.
I wouldn't be mad about Travis Hunter, really. I think he would be a great player.
Yes, Tens.
Okay, so Travis Hunter's plus 140. Cam Ward is now plus 105. Do you think the Browns go? Can the Browns go quarterback? I mean, they're unless they get this. I know they're trying to work out a thing where he re-injured himself, non-football related, so maybe they can cut him without losing all that money. But if not, like you're kind of just stuck with Deshaun. And also, I don't know that Cam Ward doesn't feel like a guy who can play in the Cleveland elements, like when it gets cold. You know what I mean?
I don't know what he can play in. I feel like Zach gets excited. I feel like Zach gets excited, and then it's like this is also the same guy that was calling Miami frauds the whole entire season. So I feel like he's unsure.
What did I say about Miami? Yeah. I said you got one guy carrying the whole team on his back and just making miracles happen time and time again.
Yeah,
which is true. He's the miracle
positive upside, actually. I think that in the NFL.
I think
Caleb Williams did, and he had struggled in his first year.
I think Cam's going to be good. Here's my question though: is you guys have a new GM just brought in, and you have a head coach that's not his guy, right? So what's the worst thing you can do? You can draft a quarterback, and the season doesn't go great, and then what does the new GM do? He says, "Well, that's not my head coach. Fire him," and then you have to reset, and you keep doing this reset, and it's terrible for quarterbacks. It's just. You can't.
Tins wants to look at Tins. He's trying to get the double tank going now.
No,
he sees an opening in the AFC South. He sees the Texans crumbling. He's like,
let's Texans firing their team president.
Titans want to crumble again this season, so Jaguars can sneak into that playoff spot.
Yeah.
Here's a new coach. Look, I'm not. If the double tank is still available, I'm down for it. I would take another season of just. If we want to do double tank, get a quarterback next year, fire Brian Callahan, hire somebody big time, get a big time QB next draft. That's fine with me. I don't know that we're going to do that.
In my mind, we have three options that I feel like I would be content with the outcome being. If it's a risk, it's a risk. But the three outcomes would be draft Travis Hunter, draft Cam Ward, trade it away for a ransom. Like we're robbing somebody. We're literally pulling the Bears, Panthers, like just ripping somebody off because they are going to overpay for that number one pick. Those are my three options. I'd be happy with either of them. Like any three, to be honest, right now. The thing that I'd be the most nervous about, which I did talk about the whole Shador, but that was just because I was here for entertainment. I wasn't here to win because it's not. It just doesn't look like it. I was just going to be entertained, still lose entertainment. That's all it was. It was going to be because Deion Sanders was our coach, which doesn't look like it's happening.
We saw Mason sent us a stat today where the Titans and the Jags were the lowest two teams in viewership. And we spent 30 minutes talking about those two teams. So
I
Hope
bet
the
those
people
views
enjoyed
would
the
be up.
content.
For sure. I know. Now we spent the whole podcast talking about those two teams. I bet you those views would spike up if we did the Dion Shador
I mean,
somehow
I think
Hey,
got
man.
Travis
yeah.
Hunter would sell
Listen.
tickets too. People want to see Travis
Yeah.
Hunter. He would
Oh,
sell
you're
tickets
not
by
wrong.
himself.
Liam Cohen's the number 5 trending thing on Twitter right now.
Wow.
There you go. We're back,
Jaguars.
We're
baby.
up. Get some views up.
Okay, so should we shift from two teams that suck to some playoff talk?
Conference championships.
I'm here
Let's
for
do
it.
it.
Okay,
All right.
so we had some electric football last weekend. Let's just run it back. I want that all over again. Give me all the football.
Wins it.
Those games were good. No, I'm not talking about the college football championship game either. I was just talking NFL. Zinger. Okay, should we start in order here with the Washington Commanders at the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday?
Let's
It's going to be 1 p.m. game Central Time on Fox. Tinsley, Zach, who wants to go? Any thoughts, questions, concerns, bets?
Love it.
Love it. That's
It's
all.
a fun
That's
one.
all you gotta say.
We got a team that that's been here a couple of years in a row. Can't and kind of they haven't won it all in the Eagles, but they've been here versus this team that kind of come out of nowhere with a rookie quarterback, kind of shocked the world a little bit. Very fun. Kind of. We're on the other side of our matchup. Obviously, you've got two of these powerhouses who feel like they're probably the two best teams in the league playing each other in the AFC. Over here, this matchup is really interesting, and it's a little more David Goliath type, but you know that the Eagles have some cracks, but you also know that Saquon Barkley is really good. Defense is really good. Fun matchup, I think. I mean, I know the Eagles are favored pretty heavy.
6 points.
It's going to be in Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
which has to help some. If Jaden Daniels could pull this game off and put the team on his back, this would be like one of the most legendary like rookie moments you could ever.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Sands, what do you think?
I think Washington does have a chance in this game. My only worry is that the Lions were popping off like 10, 15-yard runs at a pretty healthy clip with Jahmyr Gibbs. And they, for some reason, stopped doing that. They just stopped running the ball. I don't think the Eagles are going to take the ball out of Barkley's hands and say, Hurts, go win the football game. Especially with Hurts, his knee is injured. I don't know how mobile he's going to be, which is a big part of his game. So that's where I get a little nervous. Washington did lose their best offensive lineman, who just happens to play right guard, which is where the Eagles' best defensive lineman lines up in Jordan Davis. Or I'm not Jordan Davis, Carter, Jalen Carter. But I think Daniels can kind of maneuver around that. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Plus 6 is a lot of points. I think I'm going to lean Eagles just because I think Barkley is the best player on the field for either team at any time. But I mean, Jane Daniels is awesome. I mean, if it's a one-score game with the ball in his hands, I wouldn't doubt if he took him down there and won the thing.
Yeah, for sure. And then Jalen Hurts he's going to be playing, but he had that injury last week, so we'll see what happens. But with obviously NFC, both the teams coming out of the NFC East, this will be the third time this year that they'll be playing in this NFC Championship. The two teams split the regular season series this year. They both won at home. For Washington, and we both kind of talked about it already, but the key might be slowing down the Eagles' star running back. He rushed for 296 yards and 4 touchdowns combined in their 2 meetings this year. So you guys were both talking about the running game and how Saquon's been. He's got the Commander's number when it comes to rushing. Barkley has topped 100 yards rushing in 11 of his last 13 games. Have you guys seen this rushing total for the betting lines.
Mm-mm.
It set a record at the most for a postseason game rushing total. His rushing total is currently at 127.5.
Golly, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Are you betting the over on that?
Well,
So that's
he had how many rushing yards did he have last week? I know he had like over 200 all-purpose yards.
I think he had 100 and.
He was close.
That's crazy, man.
Oh, did he have 200 rush yards?
I thought it was like 205 all-purpose, like including passing.
I thought it was 230 with 21 being receiving. I don't know. It was a lot. It was a lot. He had a 60-yard touchdown run and like a 50-yard touchdown run.
Barkley had 205 rushing yards, 26 carries, 2 touchdowns. Gosh. And he had 27 receiving yards. 27. He was second on receiving yards. Goddard was the number one.
You don't need receiving yards if you got 200 on the ground.
Shoo-wee. Okay, really that wraps conditions. Up that. Did you guys have anything else to add to that game?
What's the weather outlook on that guy? Make out the weather report.
Yeah, that might be important, honestly.
If it's like snowing and garbage again,
you're taking
rushing
the Eagles.
Line looks pretty good.
Oh, you're taking rushing. Okay. Let's see.
Just gonna hand it off.
I'm literally getting on the weather app. On Sunday, it looks like it's going to be low 25, high 38, cloudy.
Some good playoff football weather right there.
It's pretty good. I do enjoy watching.
I'll be enjoying that next season.
With his plus 10,000 ticket in his pocket.
You're just going to be going to Kansas City, so if you get there.
It's all right.
That's a stadium we've not been to. We got to knock out another stadium tour game, guys. Anyways, we can schedule that once the NFL schedule comes out. We can add another stadium to the tour.
I feel like if you go to one of the northern ones, you have to go like during the winter time.
Yeah,
like I hit Soldier Field at in the snow.
Listen, you can call me a coward. I do not want to go to Philadelphia. I'm so afraid of those fans. Like I've seen videos.
Wear like Philly stuff.
I'm literally, if we go, we just be a fake fan. Like we literally be there for rooting for look at Tinsley shaking his head. I don't want to be spit on and cussed at and punched. And half the time they're fighting other fans. They're fighting their own.
Jail.
Since it's calling the cops on them.
I'll call the cops.
Probably the best thing ever would be if Tins just had like a whole stack of the straight to jail Monopoly cards, and someone's trying to fight it. He just hands them a card straight to jail. Okay, let's go over this next game. The Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs.
This is the Super Bowl.
Fun one.
This one exciting. I need to know what the total is. Is this going to be a high scoring game? Maybe 4:30 on CBS. Here, I'll go ahead and start out. So the big thing that people like to use as a weapon against Josh Allen is obviously Patrick Mahomes is 3-0 against the Bills in postseason.
In the playoffs, yeah.
Yes, in postseason.
It's pretty good.
However, during the regular season, the Chiefs lost twice. The last game of the season, which they benched all of their starters, and then Week 11 against the Bills, which was 30-21. If you guys remember that game. That was
in Buffalo, right?
That was in Buffalo. Yep. So this game is at Arrowhead, where the Chiefs are 9-0 this season. Let me tell you something real quick. What I would love to see is Washington versus Buffalo. I think a lot of people are just tired of seeing it in this three-peat, tired of seeing the Chiefs. However, I did find a stat. Just once in the last 11 playoff seasons have both road teams won in the conference championship game. So that would have to be both of them winning on the road. So, all right. What's your all's thoughts?
This, like I said, this is the Super Bowl to me, honestly. These are the best two teams.
Yep. Should they just take the trophy to this game and take a second place one to the NFC?
Okay, what I need to know why. Like, I know that the reason the Travis Kelce thing is that he just like doesn't run routes. He just like finds soft spots and zones, and I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Can we not guard it? Like, can we not just throw somebody on him and just be like, don't let this large guy catch a ball today? Like, how is that hard to do? I don't know. Like,
The theory with that
do a box
is
and
if-
one. That's what you
if
do
you-
in basketball, right?
Right. So if you run man and you just dedicate a man to Travis Kelce, it's probably a linebacker. It's probably Milano, right? Their middle linebacker. Well, then Travis is going to take him away from the play, and then
Right.
Patrick Mahomes is going to dice you for 15 yards up the field if no one else is open. So then you have to run zone, and that way you have extra eyeballs to help keep Patrick contained. And that's when Travis Kelce has the freedom and the chemistry with Patrick to just kind of run his own routes and find a soft spot in his zone. And that's where they've beat people for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Bills got healthy at the right time. Von Miller looks like his old self. The offensive tackle position is a problem for the Chiefs right now. They have moved like their starting left guard to left tackle because they've just not had someone to play left tackle. Juwan Taylor is bad at right tackle, and I don't know. I feel like this is Josh Allen getting the monkey off his back.
Time to break the streak.
He's played like Superman all year, but in a way where he's not being done with the ball and doing careless things. Like Joe Brady has really built this offense to run the ball, protect the ball, not turn it over, but still score at a high clip. So yeah, I like the Bills. It's so hard to pick against the Chiefs. It really is because of who Patrick Mahomes is. But I think this is the time that Josh gets one.
That would be fun. I'm rooting for the Bills here for sure.
Bills
I would
Commanders.
like to see a new team. It would be Bills Commanders should be fun. What a weird matchup that would be.
That would be.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be a pretty. By the way, speaking of matchups, do you guys see the ratings for the national championship game? I called this. Who was I with? Mason? Where I said I would love to see some of the ratings and how they compare.
Yes. Yep.
They were like 12% lower than last year.
Yeah.
Viewership. I was like, Part of it's because of when it fell. I think it's just weird that it's so late. And I feel like a lot of people have turned their attention to NFL playoffs already. And it just felt a weird time. But the matchup was kind of, I don't know.
So
it is what it is. But
is it the first weekend of January that's usually the college?
In the 14 playoff era, it was like January 8th.
8th, okay.
The playoff
so they
game,
still had playoffs,
first round were
right?
in January 1st. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like a week after, or 2 weeks almost.
Yeah, the timing kind of hurts them, and then the matchup
season usually.
Yeah.
I just saw so many like tweets of like how much everybody just hated those two teams and wanted neither of them to win. So there's probably just a lot of people tuning out. Just almost kind of how it sounded like we were on the podcast.
Yeah, probably. Okay. Feel good, everybody?
Feel great. I'm ready for some
Jags?
more football. Jags?
Go Jags. It's now being tweeted as official that he's going to sign the contract tonight.
Right during
when we wake up in the mornings. What a day. I got my guy, everyone. I didn't have to settle for a Doug Peterson 2.0, old washed up coach. I got my guy.
And some good content. Go to Tin's Twitter account. He's roasting all of his haters.
Click on replies. Yeah. Oh,
I'm asking people to cry harder because that's all they need. They just get it out. I understand. I was real upset Monday too when he withdrew. So I get it, but you can cry harder. That's help you feel better.
You thought you were gonna have Mike McCarthy there for a minute.
Yeah, that was a scary thought that crossed my head. Also, shout out the state of Tennessee. We can now bet on Super Bowl MVPs. We've never been allowed to do it until this year.
Wow!
So this is a pod exclusive right here, right now.
Them out. They already have
They
him
have him out.
Yeah.
They have him out. And this is a little bit of a hedge because if you haven't picked up on it yet, I'm pretty heavy on the Bills. If you're in the Discord, you know that I've given out some Bills stuff, a little bit of Chiefs as well. But here's my one hedge to protect myself from the Eagles getting there. Saquon Barkley plus 500 to win Super Bowl MVP.
Where's Mahomes?
Mahomes is plus 280, tied with Josh.
That's fine.
Jaden Daniels plus 700.
Yeah,
Where's
don't
Jalen
take
Hurts?
that. Do not take that because the Washington Commanders are plus 700 to win. So you might as well just do that because anything can happen. Who did we almost have win the wide receiver out of Tennessee? He almost won if the 49ers were going to win.
Yeah, that's a pretty bad.
Oh, yeah.
bet.
Jordan
Those odds should
Jennings,
be
yeah.
better.
So it's never like if the 49ers would have won,
Yeah.
the quarterback wouldn't even won the game. So don't be stupid when you look at these
That's why I'm
lines.
saying Barkley because the Eagles are like plus 250 to win the Super Bowl right
So there's a
now.
little bit of a difference. And if Hurts
Right.
is still hurting and he's not relying on his like leg, they're not relying on him doing the running game or passing,
Right.
then they're just going to run the ball like crazy. If he had like 2 touchdowns and over 200 yards, which he's been doing so far confidently.
And if the Eagles don't get in the Super Bowl, then you get your bet back.
This is also true. Yeah. I love stuff like this. This doesn't happen very often, but
this is the first Super Bowl sprinkle dinkle.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking
Wow.
about taking Jaden Daniels, but he was the same odds as the Commanders winning it all. And I was like, that's not the only reason that you would want to take that, I guess, is because you get your money back. Where if you just bet the Commanders to win it all, you just lose if they lose the next game. So it's almost like a free bet. It is kind of hedging a little bit. Kind of smart. We did it, everybody. Next thing, the national anthem length. I was just being funny. That's another one that we can't bet on. Coin toss we have bet on one year, I remember. Yeah. But I think they took it off last year. Gatorade color. That's another one we've not been able to bet on. So Tinsley's drinking a Gatorade. This episode's sponsored by Gatorade. Not really.
It's my teal colored Gatorade as well.
There you go.
I'm on brand.
All right, that's it, everybody. Well, hopefully this was an entertaining.
Arctic Blitz.
There you
Best
go.
Gatorade there is.
You heard it here first. All right. Well, I hope that was entertaining enough. The two teams back and forth talking. Tinsley just airing it all out, and we had a fun one on this episode. We were getting ready and hyped for it. That's why we called an emergency meeting. So thank you all for being a part of it and listening to us just ramble on. Hopefully you guys enjoy this weekend and full of football and fun. And we will catch you next week. See ya.